There's this one meeting that we had where she told me this one thing that was about Facebook. And she just kind of mentioned this in this one meeting, which was that
Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from William James. William James is an actor, photographer, and affiliate marketer. Starting his affiliate marketing world in 2011, he struggled for years until he finally found the key, the breakthrough. In late 2018, he had a massive breakthrough. He found the key, he uncovered the secret gems, and now he earns a full-time living from home. And now he earns a full-time living from home while using Facebook. And now he's also teaching other people to use the same gems, the same secrets, the same keys that he uses in his daily business and life. He's now teaching other people to do the exact same thing and go after their dreams, pursue their dreams with the financial freedoms that his system allows them. In today's masterclass, you're going to learn directly from the master himself, William James. Let's dive into it.
Before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we provide you with the contents that allows you to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to go deeper on learning on how you can hunt your future, make sure you download our masterclass session at huntyourfuture.com. It allows you to know exactly what you need to do to hunt your future. Plus, we are also going to share with you tips and tricks on what you need to do to live a limitless life starting from today's forward. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Welcome, William James.
hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm thrilled to have you here, and you're most welcome. Now, here at the Limitless Nation, we have a tradition of starting each and every interview with a limitless quote or mantra. So do you have something that you say or think to yourself on a daily basis?
Yeah, my kind of favorite quote that always motivates me is a quote from Jim Rohn, which is something like, success is nothing more than a series of simple actions repeated daily.
I like that.
Yeah, it just, I find it very true certainly to what I do. You know, every day I'm trying to advance in my multiple kind of careers that I'm pursuing at the same time. And, you know, it's like, how do I get from point A to point B? Like, I'm here and I want to be at this level of success. How do I get there? And how you get there is by doing these same things over and over again that feel like they're not going anywhere, but they are. And they're adding up, and that's kind of really the key to, you know, to getting anywhere. It's like you want to climb the mountain, you have to take the first step, kind of an idea.
I agree. And in speaking of climbing the mountain, because once you start getting up to a certain point, it becomes a lot harder to breathe because there's not as much oxygen, and you got to be a lot stronger. So can you share with the Limitless Nation a setback, challenge, obstacle, or just something that you've had to really go through in order to get to the limitless life that you currently live?
Yeah, I mean, my whole story is kind of like one big struggle in terms of my journey to getting free. So as I was saying to you before we started, the reason that I became an entrepreneur, and for people who don't know me, I guess I should say real quick, I'm an actor, I'm a photographer, and I'm also an affiliate marketer. And the reason I got into those things is because I knew I wanted to be an actor from the time I was 9 years old. And I studied acting in college. I moved to New York City in 2011, and I found that it was very difficult to break into acting, and you certainly couldn't pay the bills with acting. And so I ended up getting a series of terrible jobs to try to pay my rent in New York City. And, you know, I did everything from selling haircut coupons on the street to bussing tables to, you know, selling knockoff Viagra over the phone. I mean, I would do anything. I tried being a real estate agent. Like, for 3 years, I was a middle school English teacher. I mean, I did every job that I could possibly conceive of doing just to pay the rent. And I did not want to be doing those things because I wanted to be an actor. And what I found was that every job that I had that was, you know, paying me barely enough to cover my bills was preventing me from having the time to actually go to auditions and rehearsals and things like that and pursue my dreams. So my whole struggle was trying to figure out how I could cover my bills and not have to go to work all day every day. And I spent years and years and years like really miserable and depressed trying to figure that out, and just feeling like I was wasting my life. I'm 30 now, I'm going to be 31 soon. And I've been at this, since I was my early 20s. So to feel like you're spending your entire 20s, like spinning your wheels and not getting where you want to be going, because, you just can't figure out how to like cover your expenses and still have time to do what you want to do. It's pretty depressing. So I discovered online affiliate marketing, just desperately, searching around on Craigslist for like ways to make extra money. And I got sucked down the rabbit hole and spent years and years trying to do that, and then kind of finally figured it out. And now I'm lucky enough to be able to actually make a full-time living at it. But yeah, so I guess, there were so many bumps along the way, like obstacles along the way. I mean, for one thing, the world of online marketing, affiliate marketing, is full of how would you call this? Ponzi.
Ponzi schemes, yeah.
All kinds of different types of scams and illegal companies and people promising, making money from home, and it turns out to be a ripoff or whatever. And so there were a number of times, particularly back in 2017, when the if you know anything about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin bubble happened. The Bitcoin rapidly shot up to about $20,000 per Bitcoin, and then it crashed again. And around that time, there were all of these companies claiming to be able to make you a fortune in Bitcoin if you invested with them. And I fell into that and lost a huge amount of money, huge amount of money. And so that was a huge setback, for me to lose like 15 grand or something as a struggling actor with no stable income was pretty rough. And I had put this money on a credit card, which I basically had like a $10,000 credit card bill that I spent the next 2 years working full time in order to pay off. And that's when I got the job as a teacher, because that job actually made more money than any other job that I'd ever had. So I was able to at least pay off my debt. But it took me 2 years of working full time as a teacher to even pay that debt off.
Wow, that is a lot to go through in a short amount of time. And that's crazy, because that's a lot of different jobs. I can't imagine going from busboy to selling Viagra to knockoff Viagra, but to coupons, you basically interacted with people throughout the entire spectrum, and found that you're just trying to make ends meet, but at the same time, you weren't really truly fulfilled and happy, but you were still trying to work towards your dream.
Right.
So I'm really curious, and I'm sure the Limitless family is as well. What was that moment where we call it here an aha moment? The moment where something just all of a sudden clicks and you're in the next level. What was that moment?
Well, so there was a moment, but I would just say that before I tell you the moment, that there was also years and years of me learning stuff that led up to the moment, right? And so it wasn't just the one thing. I mean, I guess the kind of takeaway that I would say I want people to get from this is that all of the years that I felt that I was failing and struggling to figure out how to make money online, I was learning the entire time. I was following these people who were doing it, who were trying to teach me what to do. And I would spend hours and hours and hours and hours, listening to their videos and like trying to figure out what they were doing. And so it felt like I was spinning my wheels, but I realized in retrospect that I actually accumulated a huge amount of knowledge. But I guess the thing that really like tipped the scales for me was I got into this private mastermind group with this, big 6-figure earner in the industry. And there's this one meeting that we had where she told me this one thing that was about Facebook. And she just kind of mentioned this in this one meeting, which was that, and if you don't know, I've built my whole business around Facebook, marketing on Facebook without paid ads, just using my own personal Facebook profile to refer other people to various products and services and things like that. That's what we mean by affiliate marketing. But what she told me was that Facebook, the way that Facebook works is that it's kind of like a pay to play system, that you get what you give in terms of engagement. And people who are trying to make money on Facebook, they're posting on their wall, and typically the problem that they have is that nobody is interacting on their posts. They get like no likes or comments, which means that nobody's really seeing it. And even if they have, I know people who have 5,000 friends and they're getting 2 likes on their post, right? And then there's other people that I would see who are getting 500 likes on their post, and they seem to be able to sell anything to anyone because they have this huge audience who's like watching what they're doing and is interested in engaging on their stuff. And I was like, how do you do this? And so she said this one thing to me, which changed everything, which was all about how much you engage on other people's content. And so there was this one actionable thing that I knew, like, okay, I have to go out and comment on everybody else's posts, like as much as I can. And no one had ever told me that before. And I went out and I did it. And the next day, my post got like 3 times as many likes as any post I'd ever done. And then I did it again the next day and it got even more likes. And I did it again the next day and it got even more likes. And it just kind of, my engagement on my post just went up through the roof. And I had this kind of, sense of like confidence, like, I finally figured out something that worked. And then I was able to leverage that knowledge and turn around and teach other people how to do the same thing. Because, the whole world of marketing online is full of people who are struggling. And the way to really stand out is to teach people something. And then they start to kind of see you as somebody of value and somebody who can help them. And then it becomes way easier, to offer them different products and services that will help them even more. And so this thing about Facebook engagement that you told me, that was the moment when it all kind of fell into place. And I realized what I had to do to start getting some type of results that I could leverage into more results.
And I think you're absolutely correct. Right on with that aha moment, where the moment that you start to take more interest in other people's, what's going on in their life and lives and etc., is the moment where you get a lot of, I think it's called the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
You give and then you'll receive, but don't necessarily give so much with the expectation of receiving so much. But you still got to continually say, hey, I'm here. That way, when the opportunity arises, you can take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, and it started out as this kind of technical thing that she was just saying, listen, this is how the Facebook algorithm works. But it's also like exactly what you're saying. Like it's very true on a like spiritual level as well, that you get what you give. And that's kind of what I teach. I have this group where I teach people how to market on Facebook. And that's the whole thing, is I'm teaching them that you have to stop worrying about selling stuff and start worrying about providing value to the marketplace and helping people and actually taking an interest in other people's problems and figuring out if you actually, can help them with their actual problems instead of just trying to sell them something. That really is how the universe works. And it sounds kind of tacky or like a cliche or something, but it's really true. It's true technically in terms of the social media algorithms. And it's also true about just human psychology and human just interactions. If you want to, there's another great quote from, I think, Zig Ziglar that everybody knows, which is, you can get whatever you want in life if you help enough people get what they want in life. And that is just 100% true, especially when it comes to Facebook.
Yes. Now, as you said, that you got a lot of different things going on and you struggled to find your niche, your groove, and now you got that moving forward. What are you working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
So now I have this Facebook group where I teach my strategies for how to market on Facebook for any type of business. So there's all these people out there on Facebook who are trying to do these different types of businesses. They're in travel businesses and CBD oil businesses and they're in supplements and skincare, and they're in Bitcoin businesses and Forex trading and, financial planning services. Like there's all these different types of home businesses and offers and products and things that people are trying to sell each other on Facebook. It's this very kind of like competitive marketplace on Facebook of like all these people trying to sell each other stuff. And what I do is I just have this group where I completely for free, like nothing, I don't expect anything in return, just teach everything that I know about how to do this. And what's cool is that what happens is people come in the group, they learn a ton, because most people are doing this wrong. It's very counterintuitive of like how to do it correct. So they come into the group, they learn a ton, and then they reach out to me and they start seeing me as a leader, and they start asking me about different offers that I have, and I'm able to then refer them to things, courses and products, and I have various offers that I can give to them that I make money on. But it all really comes down to just me teaching everything that I know for free. And I think that concept is really hard for people to understand of like, why would you give away your best stuff for free? But that's how it works. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't really believe in like selling people stuff. Nobody wants to be sold things. What people want is to find somebody who can help them. And then they will gladly buy things from that person that actually help them. And I'm very stringent about the ethical kind of, code behind what I offer. Like I really only offer things that I genuinely know are great products that will help people. And that's difficult because this industry is full of a lot of crap and a lot of, shiny objects and stuff that really doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And so I kind of, I just hold myself to a really high standard. Even if something is like very popular and everyone's making a lot of money with it, I'm not going to promote that if I don't feel that it's, ethically in line with what my audience really needs. So, so that's what I'm working on. It's like, I spend all my energy on just getting people into this free group and giving them as much value as I can. And the group is called the Free Facebook Floodgate. You can check it out if you're curious. If you go over to my page, William James on Facebook, there's a bunch of links to it on my profile as well. You can see that, but the group is called the Free Facebook Floodgate. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So with you having helped so many different people from all different walks of life, because you also have been through many different walks of life, or rather many different experiences in a very short amount of time. And that's still incredible. With you having gone through all of that, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you yourself have ever been given that you can now pass on to the Limitless Nation?
Never give up, I guess. I mean, as simple as that sounds, the thing that makes the difference between, my having the level of success that I have, and I'm not a gajillionaire by any means, right? But I've been able to do what I set out to do. That's all I mean. But the thing that makes the difference is simply that I didn't give up. Like I struggled, and I mean, there were many times when I did give up, right? There were many times when I kind of threw in the towel and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't work. But I always came back to it. And I just never accepted that a bad situation that I might have been in was the only situation that I could ever be in. I just never accepted that. And I always, there was always like fight in me, I guess, to try to make things better and to try to get free. And, it's just very hard to maintain an optimistic attitude when you've been beaten down for years and years and years. But that is the thing that makes the difference. And, I really do believe that as long as you don't give up and you keep learning as much as you can and taking action on what you learn and just keep trying. And when there's barriers, you just figure it out and you don't give up. That's what makes the difference between people who make their dreams come true and people who don't.
Backing up just a tad bit, when you really set out to live in New York, and New York City is not a cheap place to live by any stretch of the imagination, you already know that firsthand. But when you started to become an affiliate marketer and really start to embrace this limitless life you're living, what was something that was holding you back from really becoming limitless?
Everyone says this, and I think it's so, you have to experience it to believe it, I guess, but everything is in your mind. What was holding me back was myself. This stuff is, in terms of affiliate marketing, there is a lot of noise in the space of people trying to teach a bunch of different things and all these different strategies. And there's a million different strategies for how to make money online. It can be very confusing. So just sorting through all the different information that's coming into your mind when you're trying to figure this out and trying to figure out what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you and make those choices can take a long time. But really what sort of holds people back isn't that it's confusing, because it's actually not confusing. It's actually simple. What holds people back is really just the lack of belief that it really is as easy as it is, kind of like that. The things that I now do and teach to my students are things that were taught to me years and years ago that I heard them, but I kind of didn't believe them. Like, you have to give value. Like, you have to, be more interested in helping other people than in making a sale. I heard those things years ago and I was like, well, it just didn't really register that was like the truth, or that the strategies that I was being taught could really be as simple as it is, because the brain tries to trick you into thinking that things are harder than they are in order to justify you not doing them, because your whole physio-psychological being is wired to prevent you from changing anything. That's how we are as humans, that we're wired. We have this like fear mechanism. Our psychology is wired to try to stop us from going outside of our comfort zone and doing anything different. And so our mind will play all these tricks on us by trying to tell us that what we want, that our dreams are impossible to achieve, and that they're just not. The reality is that anything that you want to do is perfectly achievable if you just stick to it and figure it out. There's a cool book called Everything is Figure-Outable. I don't know if you know that book by what's her name? Oh my gosh, now I'm blank. Marie Forleo, called Everything is Figure-Outable. And I really believe that. It's like our brain tells us that, it's the same thing with acting. It's like, I'm a little kid, I'm going to try to be an actor, right? And everybody tells me, well, that's never going to happen. Like, that's impossible. It's way too difficult to do that. And so your brain starts telling you these stories of how hard it is to be an actor. And then, as you kind of start doing it, the whole thing is like psyching yourself up to not believe that, to reject those stories. And it's true. Like, I've had countless acting jobs, and I've had countless friends who have booked, really big TV and movie jobs and stuff like that. It's like, it's not impossible. That's a lie. And it's the same thing with business or anything else. It's like, your brain will tell you that you can't do these things, and it'll tell you that it must be so much harder than it is in order to justify to you why you haven't done it yet. So that was the biggest obstacle, is like my brain just telling me, well, it must be harder than they're saying it, And,
wow. Yeah, I agree with that, because the mind is really the start of everything, whether it's positive or negative. It all starts right in between your ears. And if you can believe it, then you can really achieve it. Now, in you saying that you're doing acting and then doing affiliate marketing, and they take a lot of time and energy, what is a habit or ritual that you had to adapt into your life to really maintain this limitless life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say doing the Facebook stuff is really helpful, because I have a routine of like steps that I have to do every single day on Facebook to maintain, my engagement in my group and my connecting with new people and all this stuff. And there's a very set routine that I have to do every single day on Facebook. And that really helps kind of keep me grounded. And then there's other things like, I just think rhythm and routine is the key to kind of staying on track with accomplishing your goals. Like, you gotta have, a daily action plan that you just stick to it and do it the same every single day. Because if you mix it up, you'll just get distracted, and it's like going to the gym. It's scientifically proven that it's much easier to go to the gym every single day than to go to the gym 3 times a week, because the structure and the habit of it's like, the alarm clock goes off every day. I get up, I take a shower, I go to the gym, or whatever it is, right? And so that's huge. I just have a very set kind of routine. And for a long time, I was taking cold showers in the evening, and that was a kind of a way for me to sort of hone my self-discipline, I guess, because if you're stepping into a frigid shower, it takes a certain amount of like self-discipline, and to do that every single night, just kind of train myself to like do what I'm supposed to do, or what I've told myself I'm going to do, no matter what, whether I feel like it or not. And I kind of became obsessed with that idea for a while. And I go in and out of that now, like whether I stick to that as well. But there's certain things like the Facebook that I always have to do every day.
And that, as you said, that keeps you balanced and centered and in a Zen-like state, because then your body understands this is what's happening, and then the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and you're not constantly shocking yourself.
Yeah, yeah, and you want to try to take your thinking out of the equation as much as you can, because so like I'm a big believer in that book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if I'm sure some of your audience knows that book, but
I know it.
his whole thesis in that book is that your mind and your thoughts, are not you, and basically they are telling you all these stories about your life and what's going on that are really just not helpful. And so you want to, yeah, I think the kind of journey to success is just about getting yourself out of your own way, and a lot of that is like separating yourself from your thoughts and quieting your thoughts. And so the more you have a routine, the less you have, the less room there is for you to start thinking about, oh, maybe there's different ways of doing it, and maybe what do I really want to do here? Oh, maybe I'll do this today, and maybe I'll, like, your thoughts will kind of come in and sabotage you and prevent you from doing what you want to do, unless you kind of are in the habit of just like turning them off almost, and just kind of going through the steps of what you have to do. And also, yeah, like living in the moment, like he talks about, like just focus on what am I doing right now, and just be totally present with that, and not let your mind get you off track.
All right. Yeah. I agree with that. Now, and then going in a slightly different topic, but still maintaining the mindset principle, can you share with the Limitless Nation in one sentence, what are you most grateful for today?
Wow. I mean, there's so many things. Most grateful for, I mean, probably my family, if I'm actually being honest. It would be cool to say, myself and my own amazing ability to persevere or something, but that's not true. I mean, I think I'm mostly great. I'm most grateful for the fact that I have a really supportive family. And I do think that relationships are what make life worth living, and I'm very close with my family and stuff. So, and having that kind of support all the time was huge, has always been huge, especially because I'm trying to do something that they don't understand. The whole idea of like, I used to tell my mom, I don't want to have a job. I want to be able to like make money without having a job. And she would just kind of be like, that's so unrealistic. What are you thinking? You can't make money and not have a job. Like, it's time to get realistic and buckle down and get a job. And, everyone's heard that. And, but at the same time, like she always supported whatever it was that I was doing. And I mean, she kind of didn't understand it, but she always supported it. And that's big for me.
It is. It is. And that's why family can be a very large blessing. Sometimes it's not, but most times it is. Because if it's not a blessing, it's a blessing because it allows you to learn more about yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
I guess I would also say that I'm grateful for all of the people that, in terms of my business, like all the people that have taught me over the years, all the other entrepreneurs who have spent countless hours providing value to me, so that I can, have been able to absorb all of this amazing content and turn around and, try to share what I know with other people. It's like, I mean, thank God for the internet and the ability to connect with people all over the world who are doing amazing things. And
yes, and it's a wonderful world that we live in. Now, in a hypothetical world, if you had the ability to travel back through time and space and talk to the younger version of yourself, what advice would you give to the younger version of yourself?
It's so funny that you asked me that, because I kind of did like 2 Facebook posts about this really recently. I guess, I would just tell my younger self that I'm going to figure it out. It's going to be okay. That I just spent so many years not really believing that what I wanted was possible for me. I mean, I believed it enough to want it, but not, I didn't like really believe it always. Like there was a lot of times when I was just kind of hoping and not really believing, I guess. And I guess I would just tell my younger self to have more faith and trust myself more, and also not compare myself to anybody else, because I've beat myself up a lot over the years for kind of progressing slowly, I guess. I mean, it did take me a long time to figure this stuff out and to get to a place where I was even remotely satisfied with my life. And I beat myself up about that because I would have friends who would become much more successful than I was much more quickly. So yeah, I mean, I guess my advice is just don't compare yourself to other people, and always have faith and trust that it's going to happen if you just keep at it.
And that's what happened, because as you said in your initial quote, don't quit, don't give up. And as
Yeah.
long as you follow that advice, you'll end up where you're wanting to go. Because the moment that you quit, that's the moment where you'll never get to where you wanted to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also think it's important to kind of adjust your goals too. Like, not don't be too rigid. Like I used when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be like a big movie star, and now, I just don't really want to do that anymore, and that's okay. Like I want to do theater. I want to be in plays, and I don't really care if I make any money on them because I'm not doing this for the money. I don't really care about being famous anymore. So I've kind of I've learned to like adjust what my goals are and mature and stuff. But definitely, the end goal has always been the same of being able to live my life on my own terms, doing things that I find fulfilling and not have to trade my life to somebody else for money so that I can just barely scrape by. That idea was never okay with me.
I can definitely agree with that it's much better to live a life of design rather than live a life that's designed by someone else.
Yeah. Like I've recently started this photography business where I'm taking headshots for actors. And that's like a whole other thing that I just started in the last couple of months, actually. And it's starting to take off. And like I'm applying all the same kind of principles that I learned in marketing of just like sticking with it. And it's just slowly growing. And I really enjoy it. And I never thought I would enjoy anything as much as acting. And now I do. Like there's this other creative thing that I'm starting to do, and that's so cool to me that like I have the time and the flexibility to like have a whole new creative endeavor that I start when I'm 30, and like that could very well turn into a 6-figure business right there. I mean,
it could. Now, and speaking of businesses and endeavors and such, can you share again with the Limitless Nation where they can go to find out how they can level up in their own limitless journey through your Facebook group, as well as how they can connect with you and just learn more about you and say hi?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hang out on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and you search William James, there I'll be. And my group is right there, which is again the free Facebook floodgate. So if anybody is trying to start a business on the internet, which so many people are, any type of a home business in any kind of niche, and you're wanting to connect with people, build a network and make sales and all that kind of stuff, build a business, build a brand on Facebook, then what I teach could help you, I think. And it really is like applicable to any kind of industry, because what I'm teaching is very universal. It's like how to leverage social media to connect with your ideal audience and how to communicate with them in such a way that they love what you're doing and they want to buy things from you. And that, that is applicable to any type of business, really. So, if your dream is to work from home and to start a business and you're overwhelmed by all the difficult, everybody's pitching Facebook ads now and all these like really complicated and expensive techniques. And what I do is just dirt simple. Because I sort of believe that if a 5-year-old kid can't do it, then it's too complicated. Like it's just, we want to keep it as simple as possible because we're trying to help people here. And, the people we're teaching they're just too hard. And it works for a tiny, tiny, tiny minority of people. And then there's all these people who are spending $2,000 on a course for Facebook ads, and they're never going to be able to make Facebook ads work because it's insanely difficult.
Right. And all they get is a big, massive headache from it.
Yeah. Right. So the entrepreneur space is we're at like 99% confusion right now in the industry, in any kind of entrepreneurial industry, because there's just so much noise of people telling you to do all these crazy things that just most people are never going to be able to figure out. And the basics of doing business is simple. It's like about connecting with other human beings and offering value to them in whatever area you're in. And you can do that without any type of technical knowledge or any type of advertising cost, any cost at all. It's free. And that's why I call it the free Facebook floodgate. It's about how to turn social media into a flood of people, prospects for your business and an audience for whatever it is that you're doing. If you're selling dog toys or, yoga, like any type of whatever your passion is, you can do this, and you can create a community of people who just love what you're doing and will buy anything from you. And that's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. William, thank you very, very much for your time.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Absolutely. I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that for me personally, it is insanely amazing at how much you have overcome. You moved to New York. You found out how ridiculously expensive New York is, and it is ridiculously expensive. You found out that you had to work multiple different jobs, even jobs that you didn't like, going from bussing tables to selling on the streets to cold calling people to even being a middle school teacher. And that can't be easy. But you went through all of that. And while you were going through that, you were working on your dream, your passion to become an actor in theater, to express yourself to the world. And you also found how to use affiliate marketing and this thing called Facebook to really help you as a way to generate income without sacrificing your time. And instead of keeping that secret, those skill sets, those tools to yourself, you decided to turn around and now share that with as many people as possible through your Facebook group, the free Facebook group that you have, that is the Free Floodgate. And
the Facebook Floodgate, yeah.
Yeah, free Facebook Floodgate. Try saying that 3 times fast. But you took that, and now you're giving that out to so many different people. You're inspiring so many amazing individuals and helping them live their better life that they would never have had they not met you.
That's very touching to hear that. I mean, that's my hope, right? That's the hope, is that there's somebody out there who's going through what I was going through, that I could maybe help lift up and guide in the right direction and help to change their life. That, makes it all worthwhile. So
it does. And you're most welcome. Until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.
Living, dadgummit.